Hello and welcome to this live stream on student welfare and support at De Montfort University. In this live stream, we'll be talking about what support is available to you as a potential or future De Montfort University student, including well-being, financial and academic support, and how to access the support available. So at DMU, we're always trying to encourage an environment that focuses on your health and your well-being. It's massively important to us. And it doesn't matter what course you're studying on, whether you're an undergraduate or a postgraduate student or a full-time or part-time student. And today it's not just myself, I'm also joined by a colleague from the student welfare team who is going to talk more about what their team does and the support services available, and also two students currently at De Montfort University who will share their own experiences with accessing the support available. Now, we'll also be answering questions. So if you want to join the discussion, you can leave us a comment if you wish. Or if you have a question about student life at DMU, we'll be happy to answer that too. Again, we have two current students joining us today. Now, to actually leave a comment or ask a question, you will need to do this on YouTube. So if you are on a laptop, for example, you hover over the screen, you'll see YouTube and it will take you through to the YouTube website. But if you are on a mobile phone, then you might not see that this is a possibility for you in case you do want to switch devices. So moving on, I guess I will firstly introduce myself. So I'm Faye. I work in the school and college liaison team. So usually I'm out and about in schools advising students about their next steps into higher education and hopefully helping them to overcome any barriers they may see, such as, what kind of support's available to help them with any concerns that they may have. So again, first I want to introduce you to one of my colleagues. So I'll bring him in. Neil.
Hello, hiya. Hello, everyone. I'm Neil. I work in the wellbeing team at De Montfort University, and I'm a wellbeing officer. So my background is in counselling. I qualified as a counsellor, and a big part of my role here is delivering the one-to-one counselling. But we try to take as wide an approach as possible to people's mental health. So my role's also helping deliver some of the things we'll talk about, like our mental health masterclasses, single point of access appointments, stuff like that.
Yeah, and something that I think is so important, going to university, it's a different environment to what you may have experienced before, and it can be different learning. You might be moving away from home. So I think that's something, your mind health, your well-being is something that is always important and always something that you need to make sure that you are looking after. I'm going to introduce you to two of our students as well. So we have Stephanie and Edmar joining us today. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Can you let us know a little bit about where you're from, what you're studying? Yeah, Edmar, do you want to lead?
Yes, my name is Edmar. I'm from Sao Tome and Principe, small island in Africa. I am a master research student. I'm studying intercultural business communication.
Great, and I guess it was a bit of a change coming to study in the UK and kind of transition into a different perhaps way of learning, a different culture.
Oh, yes, it was. Comparing special weather in weird tropical island, 12 months of summer, coming to UK where everything is very cold from almost 9 months. And coming to different environment, different culture, people speaking different language. So I had to adapt to all of that. But the good side is that DMU is multicultural university. Then you always see someone from same island or same country or same continent. So it was not that hard to adjust to the environment at the Montfort University.
Great to hear that the support services were available, and we're looking forward to hearing a bit more about that later on in tonight's stream as well. Stephanie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, my name's Stephanie, and I'm from a little town called Buckinghamshire in High Wycombe, and I study law at De Montfort, and I'm in my second year.
Great. That's all our introductions, and I think we're probably going to make a little bit of a start on wellbeing at university and ensuring that you can find the resources available to support you whilst you're at university, and finding out where that's kind of pinpointed for you to access. So, Neil, I think I will make a start with you. If you can tell us perhaps more about our Healthy DMU Hub and how students can access that.
Yeah, so the Healthy DMU Hub, if you like, is a single place to find out about the range of supports for your mental health and well-being at DMU, and it's kind of all together on one part of our website. And if you just Google #HealthyDMU, that'll find it, or it's pretty easy to find on the website. And I guess the idea of it is that it's looking at the range of stuff that's available, because I think we kind of believe that your mental health and your well-being is not just something that you can take in isolation. So as well as information about the kind of mental health supports that are on there, there's also information about staying active, how that can kind of help with your well-being, volunteering and sort of stuff that can help you kind of connect to the bigger picture, feel fulfilled, keep learning. Also stuff like there's going to be mindfulness sessions that we're going to kind of deliver remotely to help you kind of stay calm, stay in tune, sort of stay in touch with yourself. So it might be something where you go and investigate a lot of stuff that's on there, or you might be just dipping in to find out one or two things that might help you, like our Healthy DMU masterclasses, which are little hour-long workshops on different aspects of mental health and well-being, like performing well under pressure, looking after yourself, staying, productive, communicating in a confident way. There's a real range of stuff there, so it's a really valuable tool. I think whether you feel that you're having issues with your mental health or not, there's some great kind of stuff on there.
Yeah, definitely. I've even, as a staff member myself, had a look at kind of what's on offer within the breathing space, within the kind of Healthy DMU Hub, where you can go to just collect your thoughts, and even the exercise classes as well. So available to both staff and students. I've seen free exercise classes and all sorts, from kind of yoga to, I think, even box fit, which I'm sure is great for getting out any kind of worries or concerns, pent up energy. And what I've seen as well is, obviously with things being much more virtual these days, is that there are actually free classes online that you can do at the comfort of your own home, safety your own home as well. And I've actually been doing them myself. Some Pilates on there, some strengthening exercises on there, all very, very useful and helpful, I think, to just kind of put your work aside or put any concerns aside, and just kind of take that moment to just let it all go a little bit, and maybe focus on your physical well-being.
Completely. And I think as well as working on your mental health, there's lots of stuff on there that I think is what you're talking about, that's giving yourself some time away from your studies, and to kind of engage with all the different parts of yourself, because that's a really important part, not just of staying mentally healthy, but of the whole kind of like university experience. And like you said, there's a lot of stuff on there about kind of online resources, because I think during lockdown, I think some of the maybe the sort of things that we all did are maybe kind of harder to do. So there are some ideas about how to kind of work on your well-being during lockdown as well on there too.
We have posted the link in our comments as well. So I've just brought it up on the screen. If you would like to check out what we're talking about, what this Healthy DMU Hub is, you can find it on the link here. To start investigating, there are great workshops as well on just generally decreasing, your stress or anxiety. If you're somebody who perhaps struggles with exams and pressure, for example, then there's some great places to go to.
And it's maybe worth mentioning actually that in terms of the master classes that we offer, they've been accredited through this scheme called the Higher Education Achievement Recognition, or HEAR for short. And if you attend 4, you get a wee kind of qualification that you can put on your CV about well-being as a kind of recognition that, there are things you learn at university that will help you in employment that aren't just about your academic work, and that knowing to kind of look after your well-being is something that employers look for. And if you attend like 4 of the master classes, you get a wee kind of recognition of that you can kind of recognition of that achievement as well. So that it's worth checking out for that reason too.
Yeah, anything you get involved in at university or at De Montfort University, you get your degree once you graduate, but you also get something called a HEAR report. And what that has on it is things like that you might have gotten involved in as well. So something that you can have a look at through the Healthy DMU Hub is opportunities for things like volunteering as well. So those are the kind of things that you can get printed out onto your report, so that you have that in addition to back up the kind of things that you've been learning, what you've gotten involved in, kind of skills that you've developed at university. So that's great to show employers. You haven't just gone to your classes. Look what else that I've done. Look how else I've tried to, work on some of the skills that I have. I'm just going to bring in our students as well to see kind of their thoughts on the hub as well, to see if they've accessed it. Edmar, have you accessed the Healthy DMU Hub before?
Yes, I have accessed it before.
Yeah, what have you accessed it for?
I was having some stress because I could not manage my life outside university and university coursework. So it was giving me a lot of headache. Then I went to university. I went to Health Hub, talked to them about how I can balance everything, so it does not affect my performance at university. I had a meeting, so they were talking to me on how to schedule my study, how to leave whatever I have to leave at home and come to uni, do everything at uni. When I finish uni, then I get back to my normal life. So that helped me a lot, and it helped me to improve my grade.
Definitely, I think you can really feel the impact that it does, like a weight on your shoulders when you speak to someone and figure out techniques of how to make that separation and how to deal with, coursework and home life, and even the transition to university, being away from home for the first time, even for many students, and perhaps not having that kind of family support around them. It can sometimes feel like university is a sink or swim kind of situation. And that's why I think it's good for every student who starts university to familiarize themselves with the support available. You do have a personal tutor when you join university. So if you're not sure about where to pin, where these services are, ask your personal tutor, even call up the university if you don't know who to speak to. But usually we do have an introductory pack where we let all students know this. So even if you're not going to De Montfort University, if you're thinking of going to a different one, find out what their services are, how they will support you throughout your studies. And I think probably now we might move on to a little video to kind of show you about, show some of our students and how they kind of approach mindfulness at the university.
To look after myself and protect my mental health and well-being, I dance. So I've joined the university's Bollywood Dance Society, and that has helped me unwind and just put myself out of situations that I've been in, and I just dance to look after myself.
On a day-to-day basis, I usually meditate. I heard about this Kadamba institution recently, and I went to one of their sessions, and they taught me how to keep our mind at peace and meditate on a regular basis. I was able to concentrate more on my studies and my other day-to-day work, and it kind of really helped me.
The main thing I focus on is just to be kind to myself and to make sure that, you know, I remember that not every day is going to be the perfect day. And in terms of doing activities, I like to try new things, as well as schedule some time to relax and make sure I'm not working all the time.
To help my mental well-being, I will have routine in every day. I get up and go to bed at the same time, and it helps me to really keep that structure in my life.
I'd go on a Monday to breathing space, to a meditation group, and that really relaxes me every Monday morning.
I kind of go to the gym quite often, so it's like 2 hours of just high workout intensity. It's just kind of like distracting me from what I've got to focus on. And usually when I'm not there, it's kind of like listening to music or podcasts just to like distract me from everything that's going on.
One thing I really try and do consistently is I have a book, and in that book I try and write down the peak and the pit, so the best and the worst of every day, and I use that as I guess like a tool for myself to self-analyse, see where the good times were, see how to make the bad times maybe not seem as bad, and just a nice little reflection in the evening, sort of get my thoughts together.
I always make sure I take time out for myself, away from screens and stress. Just take that time out to collect your thoughts and that peace of mind at the end of the day.
That was a good shout. I think we do have over 200 different clubs and societies at the university, so there really is something for everyone. It's not all sports, some of it's academia related, sometimes it's just completely off topic, you know, to whatever your studies are. It could be something like the Harry Potter Society, just about meeting other people really, and finding people with a common interest and just going from there and making new friends. So we've kind of covered a bit about Healthy DMU and kind of what it is and what it stands for. Neil, perhaps you could give us, obviously working within the well-being kind of welfare side of things, you could give us a bit more of an idea about the support available.
Yeah, and maybe it's a good idea actually to start with what I think for a lot of people is the first step. And if you're experiencing issues with your kind of mental health and well-being, and you're maybe not sure how to kind of tackle them or how to get support, a really good first step is to book yourself in for one of they're called single point of access or SPA appointments. And the My Gateway system that all students have access to at DMU is how a student can book themselves onto one of those. So it's dead easy. And that's a chance to really sit down and talk with a member of the wellbeing team for 45 minutes about the issues you're facing. And I do a lot of the SPAs, and I think for a lot of people, getting that chance to talk is in itself a big help. But the SPA's not just about talking. We also kind of work out a little action plan together of steps that you can take to maybe help. Those might be things that something you could do yourself. It might be about linking you up to like external supports, because sometimes the right people to help might be an external agency, but it's also about maybe linking you into the support that's here at DMU. And a couple of things that might include support from our mental health inclusion team, and the mental health inclusion officers. They're there to kind of support you, but also to sort of support you with your mental health in terms of how it might be impacting on your course. So as well as kind of giving you support and advice, they can kind of liaise with academics on your course. And if there are appropriate adjustments to be put in place, or discussions about getting an extension, if that was needed, they can kind of help you with that. So if you like, I sort of think about the mental health inclusion officers as being there for the place where your mental health and your course kind of interact. But there's also the counselling service, and that's what the wellbeing officers are there for, and we offer counselling. And I think that's maybe if you're in a place where your mental health was affecting your course, but the issues were maybe more related to, say, an experience that you were going through, either a current one or sort of something in the past, or maybe like a particular pattern that you felt like you were kind of getting stuck in or whatever like that. The counselling's a chance to talk in a kind of confidential space and explore that with one of the counsellors. And we offer 6 sessions or up to 6 sessions of counselling, because not everybody needs all 6. And the counsellors will really work with you to help you get the most out of those 6. So the idea is that it's not just something that kind of helps in the weeks that you've got it, but by the time that you get to the end, you're maybe in a better place than you were at the start. But also that ending can also be about, sometimes linking you in to kind of ongoing support. So, we appreciate that 6 sessions might not be enough time to sort out absolutely every issue in your life, but we would really do our best to make sure that it was a step forward for you, so that you kind of, if it was something that you needed, you kind of knew what was different at the end of it than at the beginning. So there's a range of support available, but the sort of single point of access or SPA appointments are a really good place to sort of start off. And actually, even if the issues aren't only about mental health, because things like your finances, your accommodation, those can all impact on your mental health. At the SPA, we can also signpost you to the support services other than the wellbeing service, like maybe the student finance and welfare service, or other teams that are there to sort of support you at DMU. So it's a really good first step to getting some help.
Yeah, we will be mentioning the kind of more finance side of things in just a bit as well. So some really good information there about how you can address many different issues you might be facing, whether it's to do again with your accommodation, if it's your academic, your course, for example, if it's family life. So always kind of utilize that single point of access appointment to, or SPA as we call it, to speak about any issues that you may have. And something else that's really important is, if you are currently doing your UCAS application, so applying to university, it is really important that you disclose any kind of pre-existing conditions, to share that with universities. It could be something like a disability. It could be if you are, for example, on the autism spectrum, and you want to disclose this to universities. The sooner we know, the sooner that we can get any support in place for you and actually book an appointment prior to you starting university, so we can ensure that's in place for you for once you start. So it's always good to share that with universities, and don't worry about it impacting you potentially getting an offer from the university. That is absolutely not taken into consideration. It will not have any impact on the type of offer that you will get from the university itself. Neil, are you okay to perhaps touch upon the disabled student allowance for us?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that really links into what you were saying about letting us know so we can kind of put appropriate support in place. So disabled students allowance is there as a support to kind of make sure that nobody who's got a disability is negatively disadvantaged because of that. And the name disabled students allowance maybe creates an impression that it can be a bit misleading, because disability would also cover a medical condition, a learning difference like, say, dyslexia, or a mental health condition like depression or anxiety. So if any of those is a factor for you, you'd be eligible for that. And it's not so much direct financial support to you, but what it is it's you apply to it through Student Finance England, you fill in a short form and provide some medical evidence of your medical or mental health condition, and they sort of make money available to kind of support you when you're at DMU. So that might be software on your laptop that will maybe help you manage your workload or kind of break work down in different ways. But it also can be mentoring support, either with study skills or maybe a mental health mentor who you could meet with weekly throughout your time at DMU. And once you've successfully applied for that, you're entitled to it every year. You don't have to like reapply. And I think maybe for people who like, in my experience, it's most with people who maybe have a mental health condition. That mental health mentor can be really valuable because while the counseling's there, it's maybe a more sort of short-term support. But if someone's got a mental health condition, that mentoring support is, like I said, available throughout their time at DMU to just kind of help you manage your mental health, help you manage the impact on your course. So it can be of real value to, I guess, helping you get the degree that you're, I guess, entitled to, And I guess another reason I would encourage people to apply is, at school or at college, you might have found, well, do you know what, I've got anxiety, or I've got some depression, or I'm dyslexic, but I've always managed. I don't need that extra help. But what it might be is that you've always been having to work a little bit harder than other people to kind of to get the results you've got. And sometimes the transition to university can kind of bring that out. And so this support's there to make sure that you're not having to be at a disadvantage because you do maybe have to work a little harder than some people who don't have those things to kind of engage with your studies and stuff like that. So it's a support you're entitled to and a really valuable one, I think.
And again, just to stress, the DSA, as we call it, it isn't something that you have to pay back. And if you want further information about it, I've popped the link in the comments. I'll bring it up on the screen here too. And just be aware that it can take up to 12 weeks, I think 14 weeks-ish to make an application.
I think I think there are a few stages to it, because they want to make sure that the support you've got's right for you. So if you like, the 12 weeks is maybe the moment from putting the form in the post box to actually getting the support you're entitled to. So you wouldn't be left hanging for 12 weeks, but there would be a few stages along the way. And that's why it's really important, I think, that if it is something you're entitled to, or even potentially entitled to, that it can be good to think about that, before you kind of start, so that support, if you're entitled to it, can be there from day one of term one, rather than sort of something that you're having to kind of wait for.
I think when you apply for student finance as well through the government, I think there's a box you can tick or you can fill in if there's anything that you think you might be eligible for something like this, or if you have a learning difference, so they can kind of prompt you to then go and fill in this section as well. But if you do register, and I'll post the link in the comments, with Student Finance England, the people who provide you with the DSA, with your tuition fee loans, with your maintenance loan, if you do register with them, give them your email address and everything, then they can prompt you on things like this as well and remind you to do them.
That's right. And the bit of form filling in that you'll have to do as a student isn't very much. It's just a little bit of extra information. The maybe bit that might take a bit more time is to sort of get the appropriate medical evidence. But we can sort of also sort of support people with that sort of side of things as well, because it's those sort of two parts that'll probably form your kind of application. So yeah. And
if you would like to find out further information about kind of the support that we offer as well, I've popped some links in the comments with some of our contact details if you want to contact us by email or if you'd like to contact us by telephone. And we also have the wellbeing contact details there also. Anytime as well you're not sure, you mislaid this information, forget where you popped it, you can just call our main email. You can call our main number, or email our main email address, our general email address, inquiry@dmu.ac.uk, and we'll always be happy to pinpoint you in the right direction. And just remember as well that whilst we may not always be doing all of these services at the moment in person, we are continuing to at times work from home and to do a lot of those appointments virtually as well, which some people might actually prefer. I imagine it's something that we might actually kind of continue doing, a bit of a mixture going forward. So the support's there, regardless of whether COVID is here in a little bit longer. So do be aware that that's not going anywhere, that support. And I just wanted to bring in our students to speak about perhaps any support that they might have received. Stephanie, is this something that you might have accessed whilst you were at university?
Yeah, I accessed disability support because I didn't really know that I had a disability at first. It was something I was unconfident about. I wasn't really a confident reader, and I was quite nervous about the aspect of having to read a lot for the course that I chose, like law. And I always felt like I was a little bit behind, and whenever I was doing exams, I felt like I was the one rushing at the end trying to finish. And I felt like university was a new start, and I really wanted to see if there was a way to kind of like solve that so I could be at my best for university. And they gave me an opportunity to do an assessment, and they found out that I had dyslexia. And ever since then, the university's been really helpful in providing support, whether that's through just accepting like dyslexia. Finding out at university, it's quite unusual to find out so late, and the university have been helpful at making it normal for me and giving me things to make it easier for reading, like assistive equipment, like things I've never even knew you could have, like reading out textbooks and all these really cool equipment that really helps. So yeah.
Great. And that's I guess something that will continue as well throughout your time at university as well, and something that you can now know more about for future as well, for any kind of employment you take in the future.
Definitely.
And so I popped again, the links are there if you want to find out any further information. And it's not just, for example, dyslexia that we can support with. We have support officers within various different kind of disabilities and conditions, learning differences. So do check our webpage for further information. We have lots of things on offer. For example, something that we do host is a transition into university life residential. That was virtual this year rather than on campus. But for anyone, for example, who might want to consider the university, who may be on the autism spectrum, for example, and that's something that can be really helpful in introducing students to university life, kind of if it's on campus, living in accommodation, what's it like, for example, and also getting involved in really fun things. I think they do things like laser tag, for example, cooking a meal together. And some of those stuff was online this year, but again, it was great for students to be able to engage with each other and speak to each other and voice any concerns that they might have. So again, don't hesitate to contact us if any of this is resonating with you and you want to find out further information. Edmar and Stephanie, how did you kind of feel? How did you find the transition into university? So going back to almost your first week at university, how did you find settling in? Obviously, both moving away from home. How was that kind of experience for yourselves? How did you kind of cope with that?
Well, I personally, I was really excited, but I was really nervous at the same time. Like, my nerves and my excitement were probably both at the same level, like really high. So I was really excited to start, but I was nervous at what was going to happen. Like, I didn't understand living away from home, finances, and making new friends. There were so many things I was trying to juggle at the time. And I felt like you just have to take it one step at a time. You can't overthink it, and just go in with a fresh head and think, how can I make the most out of this opportunity and this experience, really.
Right, and you mentioned finances, which I think is really important. It's quite difficult, isn't it, managing your finances for the first time at university. Edma, how did you kind of find that? Were you good at it? Were you a good budgeter? You feel like you had it right from the get-go?
Not really. I had some ideas, some experience budgeting, but I wasn't living in Leicester when I started uni. I was driving every day from Peterborough to Leicester, so it was a little bit expensive. But I was having issue to manage all my money. I was talking to my tutor about the issue I'm having with traveling and the money. So my tutor advised me to go to a student finance officer. It wasn't in first floor. It was in ground floor in Gateway. So I booked appointment. So I had appointment after a week, which was very quick. I was expecting to get appointment maybe in 4 or 5 weeks, but that was very quick. So I got the appointment, and I went to the appointment, and I was talking to them about, I'm driving every single day. It's too expensive. I'm having issue to manage my budget. And after that, I had 2 more appointment where one of the member was teaching me how to manage money, how to spend less, what to do. And I was very, I would say, blessed or lucky that she also brought me a application asking me to fill. So I got help with, it was called something like traveling support. I'm not sure, I don't remember the name. It's been about like 3 or 4 years ago. So I got the help. Then I was getting help from university with money to pay for the traveling cost. So that was good. I had a help from managing my budget. And at the same time, I got help to pay my traveling cost.
Great. So we'll move on to kind of money matters at the moment, and we'll give Neil a little bit of a break from all of his useful information that he's given to us. But if you have any questions, again, do pop them in the comment section. Go onto the YouTube page to be able to do that, and ask them whilst we're here and readily available to answer your questions. So just when we go on to actual finance itself, we do provide a lot of support, again, and advice on money matters, including tuition fees, including financial help. How can you fund your studies? And we offer triage appointments for a quick chat as well for students. But we also have longer appointments that students can book with an on-site money doctor to review finances and kind of help support with budgeting. I don't know about you, Stephanie, but I was very I struggled at first with it, but I think the way that I manage is by creating a spreadsheet for anything student finance related. So I think nowadays students have an app. Is that generally the case?
Yeah, mostly apps that I use to budget with and check what I have to pay beforehand and things like that. But the university is really supportive with all needs, whether it's extra finances or looking at ways to budget and things like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Just, get in touch with us. We've got a finance team on campus and also available virtually to be able to support students for when they start university. For actually applying to student finance, I'm sure you two might kind of have a bit of a memory of this, is that you actually can register your interest already on the government website. And again, I've posted a link in the comments. So you can register your interest already on the government website. It doesn't open. So for any students who wish to apply for university to start in September 2021, the actual window for you applying for student finance doesn't open until the end of February. and then it can take up to 6 to 8 weeks to actually process the application. So better to do it sooner rather than later, but usually the cut-off period, so it's kind of between end of February and kind of May time for your application, for you to guarantee that you have the funding on time. It might be that you are a student from abroad, and it might be that you can't quite access the same funding as students here already in the UK. So again, you can check that government website to find out what you will be eligible for. And we also have more information on our website. So if you want to have a bit of a read there, again, it's posted in the comments so you can find out a bit more information. So we've covered a bit on welfare, kind of counselling, mental health, managing finances and where to go. And again, if you have any financial struggles at university, you can come and talk to us, book an appointment, and we'll help pinpoint where we might be able to support you or what you could perhaps do differently. And there are pots of money available within universities for anything where the hardship funding, for example, for students. So that's something that you can also do a bit of research or get in touch with us about. And something I think finally we just would like to touch upon is the library and learning services at the university. So I think it can be a little bit different. University learning to probably your learning at school, sixth form, college. Stephanie or Edmar, how did you find that kind of transition moving from school or college to university learning? Was it a new subject you were learning? Did it feel quite different, for example?
Yes, in my experience, I felt that for some reason, first year at university was easier than college. I don't know why, but that was the impression I got, because again, I was kind of like scared when I moved to uni, when I started uni, because I didn't have a lot of IT background. I came from kind of like subject, kind of like psychology, history, geography. But for some reason, a few days before end of deadline, I decided to switch to do computer science because I fancied. Then I went to do it. But when I arrived at university, they introduced everything from zero. I remember my tutor, he was saying that they assume you don't know anything about computer science. So they were teaching us everything from zero. They were teaching us something like how to print, hello, what's your name? I was, wow, that was fantastic. And someone next to me, they were very advanced, but for me, it was not, it was very, very easy. I easily managed to adapt to that. And another thing is that in college or secondary school or sixth form, we have like, you go to school like 9 until 5 or 9 until 4. You have a lot of lectures and someone come in and they're telling you have to do this, do that. But at the university, we had only a few lectures and a few labs. So we have a lot of extra time to chill out, to go to library, to meet friends, and we had a help to manage how to prepare for the lecture, for the lab and everything. So as I was saying in the beginning, for me, I had the feeling that it was easier first year at university than college itself.
I think I'd agree with you. I think I remember doing my A levels, and I remember them being, because I was doing 4 different subjects, 4 at AS, 3 A levels. I think it was quite hard to split your time and to learn in depth 3 different subjects. And I think I found it easier at university because I was just studying the one subject and I could focus all my efforts into that one subject. And I think that was probably a bit easier for me than doing, an A level in art, an A level in psychology, and an A level in German. It kind of kept me on my toes doing lots of different subjects. So I think for me, probably first year of university was probably a little bit easier. Stephanie, have you found it? Have you accessed any of the kind of learning and library service support? Do you go to the library or have access to any of the workshops in the library?
Yeah, I go to the library quite a lot because of being a law student, I need to access journals and a lot of library services. And I've been a part of their workshops, a lot of workshops that they provide. They've been so helpful with knowing how to reference. Before, at school, at A level, we didn't really reference in the kind of way that we do here at university. Each subject has a different referencing style, and with law, we do a scholar, and I've never heard of that before I came to university. And they've in the library services, they provide ways of how to cope with these new referencing styles. They explain things to us really simply and clearly, and they provide workshops on specific study skills or study areas that you need to focus on, whether that's planning or referencing or structuring essays, all of that type of thing they provide. And it's been really helpful with the library, because before I found the library quite daunting because it's so big and it has so many different areas.
So many books.
Yeah, so many books, literally. And they have like lots of different areas within the library to like use, where there's like quiet areas and loud areas. So it's been really helpful, like accessing all that the library provides, because it makes studying so much easier when you access more of those services.
Absolutely. And for anybody watching as well today, obviously with the COVID situation, we there is still access to the library itself in a kind of COVID safe way. But we also have about 70% of our kind of books are available online as well. So we've got just under 1 million kind of ebooks as well, electronic books. So we will support you within your studies if you can't, for example, access the library currently. But yeah, really good that you can book rooms, study spaces. If you've got a project within a team, you can book a room together within the library. Obviously, once it's safe to do so as well. Edmar, did you want to? Oh, yes, sorry, Stephanie.
You can also book like specialist one-to-one study skill support sessions with library people. And with the library, you have specific library people for your subject area. So with law, I could go to like a law librarian and ask them for specific support in my subject. And they've been really helpful with like providing what books I could read, additional books to the recommended books. And they also provide help with like what essays, when you're having an essay to write, they could also provide help with that and structure and things like that. So it's been really helpful. Yeah.
Edmar, is there anything that you wanted to add? I think Stephanie got all the great points in there about the kind of one-to-one support and workshops and the librarians on offer. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, just adding to what Stephanie just said about essays and the coursework, for anyone having issues, special international student, English is not my first language, so I Portuguese, and when I came to uni, moving from Portuguese and started writing like massive essay in English, I was struggling to combine grammar and vocabulary and everything just to make it look like very good to get a good grade. So my first essay, I got a low grade, and I was not happy with that. I was complaining to my
personal tutor.
Yes, it was personal tutor and the module leader. I was complaining to them about my grade, because I said, I know how to do this in technical side, but explaining, I'm getting issue with that about explaining and writing them. So they assigned me to it was coursework workshop. Then I went there and she helped me. I remember one of the librarian helped me with gave me a lot of tips and idea on how to write coursework. And I did another essay. My grade just jumped, and I was very happy that I managed to get what I was looking for. So what Stephanie was saying, there's a lot of help, special one-to-one. So if you have an issue, even if English is your first language, coming from college, you might not have experience of writing a massive essay. So then there's a lot of help there. You can book them. I don't know how it works now because of COVID, but I know there are a lot of help there. So they help you to write your coursework.
If anybody wants to have a look at we have the library has its own webpage. which I'll pop into the notes again. And you can have a look. There's even a button, a Just Ask button, it's called. And that's where you can either live chat or fill in a form to answer a question and receive an email back from our team of librarians and support staff. So if it's even anything like I need help booking a workshop, or how do I find out, whatever it might be, or it might even be not sure how to locate a book in the library, whatever it is, you might not have even used the library before you go to university. So there is an ask a question button there so that you can drop that into your librarian team and get the answer. So I think that pretty much sums up tonight's talk. I'm going to bring Neil in as well. And if any of you want to, I did perhaps finish on something that maybe a piece of advice that you would give to any prospective student now looking to apply to university. That's kind of putting you on the spot, sorry. But anything that you feel to kind of end on would be a good top tip.
I suppose in terms of my own area, which is mental health, I would say do let us know if there are issues. And I think sometimes people can have a bit of a trepidation about ticking that box on the UCAS form. But that information's only shared even with the people within DMU who need to know to be able to provide sort of support for you. So it's a safe thing to do, and it's only there to make sure that we can provide you with the support. And equally, if something starts to happen, maybe sometime within your first year or whatever, then book yourself in for a spa, do approach us, because there is a lot of support there. And I guess in my experience, the sooner people connect to that when they need it, the better. So yeah.
Stephanie or Edmar, anything you want to finish on?
I would say don't feel overwhelmed by starting a new chapter, but the university have so much to offer and provide with support, and not to feel like you're in it alone, because the university are also there to provide support.
Yes, and my take on is make sure you use and do the best while you're at university, because it's 3 years of your life. And don't just focus on the academic side of it. Academic side of it is the main point, but also a balance, play with study, because we have a gym, we have a nightclub, we have society, we have a lot of things, and Leicester is a great place to be. So there's a lot of fun activity to do. Make sure you use them, because once you go, you might not have a chance to come back and use them again. So use them while you're here.
Great tips. I love that, Edmar. Work hard, play hard. Some great advice to end on there. And just really to finish off the live stream this evening, I hope you found it very useful. I've again popped some links in the comments. And just from me, if you decide you want to perhaps speak further with our students after tonight's live stream, you can do so. Go onto our website and you can see there, dmu.ac.uk/student chat. You can even pick a student from your course area, so the students from lots of different course areas, or you can speak to a staff member like myself and we'll try and help you, or at least find the answer to help you with any queries that you may have. And something else we have is the Applying to University Facebook page for, again, anyone thinking of applying to university in 2021. You can connect with others, ask questions, and just find lots of really useful information in there. So the link is there. And finally, if you want to as well, you can join us on our next Digital Open Day. It's taking place this Saturday. So don't forget to join us, to book as well, so that we can send you the link for you to join in an absolute massive range of talks, both to do with information, advice and guidance, but also subject related as well. We do have more live streams in the works as well. So remember, again, go back to the same place, the dmu.ac.uk/live streams, to find out what else we have got on our schedule. But I think that's it. Thank you again for joining us, and good night from all of us.